Someone that didn't put me to sleep, Melodrama, Lorde.
Hell yeah.
What a fucking follow-up album. Well,
Is this the best pop album since Frank Ocean about a year ago? Definitely the most thoughtful. I think the most lyrical.
It's interesting.
Because this ain't no Katy Perry Witness, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, and it's no Kingdom Hearts, whatever.
Halsey
named herself.
Yeah, whatever.
Dark Fountain or something like that.
Hopeless Fountain Kingdom. I
think that's what it is. Katy Perry was number 1 for album streams, I believe.
Halsey was number 1, then Katy Perry's number 1. Lorde will be number 1. That'll be 3 women top in the Billboard 200.
This is by far
back to back.
The best album out of the 3.
Definitely. Definitely.
Thinking about just pure pop, I mean, I guess it would depend on like categories you put certain albums, but yeah, I mean, this is one of my favorite albums of the year for sure.
Yeah, and it's 100% a breakup album, but this isn't like the breakup album you think of when you listen to Taylor Swift. You know,
right.
This isn't like
it's
all
about
these
broken heart all the time.
Right.
It's about growing, which is a really, I think, important like standpoint. And
because she's in her 20s now,
right,
and like it shows that like it's kind of the evolution of how Lorde thinks about things,
right,
and it's because she's really introverted.
After I after I listen through one time, I like to go and read some reviews just to kind of see like what people are saying about it.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of Pitchfork's review, they said it's hard to believe that this is Lorde's first time being a teenager because she's so good at describing it. Like she can like talk about it and talk about like growing pains and all that in such a beautiful and like elegant way that like most people who are even in like older can't really describe. And even like the way that this is written. I know we talked about Jack Antonoff producing this, and she had her original producer as well. You can really hear how she takes the way she says things, or her cadence on things, or even how she sings certain songs or certain parts of songs to create meaning that is so unique to a pop star, which is really how you have to categorize.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Is despite all the new people she's worked with, and despite growing up a lot, and obviously being in a much more different place now as a incredibly successful young woman. Right. She didn't compromise her artistry at all.
No.
And I think that's so refreshing for a major pop star these days. And the fact that it's such a lyrical album and the singles actually really flow in the record, which was not something you would have expected when you listen to singles when they were just the singles, because they didn't seem to make sense together.
Yeah, that was actually something we were talking about off air originally, but the singles, I mean, they all sounded pretty good, but when thinking about how you make a cohesive record with something like Greenlight and then Liability, it's like, okay, those songs are two different ends of the spectrum. One's an anthem, one's a very like meaningful, deep song. She was really able to make it flow, and I think the production on this was just phenomenal. The sound was phenomenal, and like I was saying before, Jack Antonoff's presence on this is very apparent, because if you listen to Bleachers, Gone Now, and then you listen to Melodrama back to back, you would hear a lot of the same types of switch ups and just like background noises, things like that.
But it makes sense for Lorde still, which I think is what makes it so great.
Yeah, because even in a sense, Gone Now is also a song about, or a record about moving on, but just for a different part of life, which is still in the same kind of vein as Bleachers, which is or Melodrama. When you think about pop stars, where does Lorde fall in like the tiers? Because you have people like you have people like Katy Perry. You have people. You need a pen?
Yeah, I was thinking about something before.
You have people like Katy Perry, who puts out an album, no matter how good it is, it's going to be number one. Halsey's reaching that level now.
You had Selena Gomez,
Selena Gomez is up there. Ariana
she has
Grande.
the most Instagram followers of anyone in the world.
No, Katy Perry has the most.
She has the most Twitter followers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Selena has Instagram.
Interesting.
Which is Selena Gomez is really unique because she's pretty young. I think she's like our age, she's like 24 or something, 25. But she has a very young fan base and a very big fan base that have been with her for a while.
Those Disney days, bro.
And then I think Demi Lovato is kind of in that same lane.
And Beyonce's obviously at the top.
Right.
Like Beyonce drops an album, the world stops.
I mean,
Lady Gaga drops an album, the world stops.
Adele
drops an album, the world stops. So it's like...
And Taylor. Those are probably the top four.
Yeah, you have those four, and then there's a second tier. So is Lorde in that second tier yet? Is she in like a third tier, rising?
See, I don't...
It's a second album.
The sales for this are like 80-ish, I think, which is very good, obviously, but that's not Halsey, that's not Bryson Tiller, So I think because she's still this introverted, lyrical pop music
She's weird.
that still is mainstream. It is a niche appeal.
Right.
And like a song like Green Light has only modestly charted, and I don't think anything else is going to chart any better than that. Right. So I think it's tough to put her in a high tier because of that reason.
Yeah, I mean, when I was thinking about it, I think she does fall in like that third tier probably. But I think the thing that will help her longevity is the fact that she is weird and she embraces that and can really make artistic albums that, even though it's a pop album, this doesn't lack for substance at all.
No.
Which a lot of pop albums do, because they're just trying to go for things that people can sing and people can play in their car at a party and relate to.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things Lorde has going for her is that she doesn't... I think she has proven thus far with her first two records, and again, this can certainly change, she's only like 20 years old, but that she doesn't either rely on these, mainstream songwriters like a Max Martin to produce her hits, or like a Dr. Luke or something. And I think even Max Martin told her she was making pop music wrong if she wanted to play for the radio, which I guess is kind of true, even though Royals was the number one song. But you just think about how this relates to Katy Perry, who we talked about last week. No Dr. Luke helped this time around. She set out to be more ambitious in her record, but it really kind of falls flat. There's some, there's some decent high points on it, but overall, a lot of the conversation, whether it's warranted or not, is what does Katy Perry actually bring to the table besides someone who's just really good at singing the songs you write for her,
Yeah, and I guess if you have to think about, like, it's right around NBA draft time, so you're seeing a lot of, like, what's this person's ceiling right now? if you're in our sphere, pop culture, sports sphere, her ceiling is Lady Gaga. Like, she fits that, like, weird, like, niche.
This is Lorde, you mean?
Yeah, Lorde. Right. That her ceiling is Lady Gaga. She's never going to be, like, a Taylor Swift where she puts out an album and every song could be an anthem people are singing, I don't think, because she's just not that type of artist. But she can definitely make albums that you look back on and say, wow. I mean, like The Fame or The Fame Monster, both albums that are fantastic.
Perfect pop album.
And Lorde is, I wouldn't say either one of her albums has been perfect, but she's going to make one day that will be considered perfect.
Very unique.
It's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait for that.
For context, Katy Perry, 66 million Instagram followers. Selena Gomez, 122 Instagram followers. And you're trying to think of someone else who's really big. Kylie Jenner, she's probably 80 million?
Does Kim Kardashian have
95 million.
What is
Kylie's ahead of Kim.
Really?
Which is insane, isn't it?
I always remember Kim Kardashian.
Oh, sorry, no, she isn't. She's catching up, though. Kim is 101.
Gotcha. Man, 126 million.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 126 million people ever seeing anything I do. That's crazy.
Bieber, 88.
Except for hopefully listening to this podcast. If you share us, soundcloud.com/NowstalgiaPod, Twitter @NowstalgiaPod, go to YouTube, subscribe, share us. Make us big. We want to have all those followers. What songs off this...
We'll never be Royals, but please share us.
That was good. That was nice. What songs off this would you say are must-listens if you don't want to check out the whole album?
I think I have a better appreciation for this now that I hear it after listening to the rest of the album. But Perfect Places, the last song, I think is awesome.
Really good.
I believe that was her second to last song she performed. Or no. When I saw Gov it was one of her last songs.
Oh, when you saw it live. How many of these songs did she play?
She only played the singles. She played Green Light, Perfect Places, Liability.
Okay, gotcha.
And then all of it was Pure Heroin.
Liability must have been kind of like a slow, whatever.
Right. Perfect Places and Green Light, I think, are the two biggest hits, but the Louvre is getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, the Louvre. They're going to hang us in the back of the Louvre. It's the back, but it's the Louvre, so no big deal. I thought Hard Feeling, Loveless, was a really, really well done song. I could have done without Loveless being attached to it as much, but Hard Feeling I thought was a song that really went. And Supercut I really liked a lot. It really stood out to me. Some interesting writing in both of those.
Yeah, and right. Interesting writing, unique perspective, and there's just so much more to dig into on Melodrama than there is on Hopeless Found, Kingdom, or Witness.
Right. Yeah, and even just the way that you said this before, the way the songs move together, it's almost like a rising and a crashing, which I think fits so much for those growing pains of someone going from 16, 17, 18 to their early 20s. Like, you're going to have those really high highs where things just are very exciting, fun, life is hitting you all at once, and it's amazing, and then life's going to hit you all at once. It's going to feel like shit, and you're just like, fuck, like, I'm at my lowest point right now. And that's what really how this album sounds. It's very up and down, a lot of swelling, falling. It's cool.
Yeah.
Definitely a great album. Check out Melodrama. Definitely probably, I'd say out of all the albums we reviewed the last 2 weeks, my favorite one.
It's probably one of the best of the year already.
Yeah.
You know?
Damn.
Well, I say, besides Damn, is there anything better? Nothing I can think of off the top of my head.
Nothing that's as widely appreciated.
Right. Like, obviously, I love Culture by Amigos, but I can't, say it's a better album than this.
Yeah. Passion Fruit wasn't consistent enough all the way through, and there's so
You
many
mean More
songs.
Life?
Yeah, sorry. More Life. Basically, I've just been listening to Passion
That's a
Fruit
playlist,
lot. Yes.
low expectations.
Right, exactly. So
All American Badass by Joey Badass. I still want to stump
do
for that.
live. Yeah, and I really like TMO still. I'm listening to that a lot, but I don't know if it would be on this level. This is some other shit.
Good shit.